The effective management of border crossings in the north and west remains of critical importance to the agency tasked with that responsibility. Ensuring that persons and cargo entering or leaving the country are able to do so safely and without delay as part of the daily ebb and flow at the Benke border has at times proven to be challenging, both from a national security and a foreign affairs perspective.
For some time now, there has been a general policy in place and a strategy to improve the way how things are managed at the border. And while it is a national security issue, it is fundamentally to be managed by the Border Management Agency. Now, we've seen a lot of it happen up north, but the Benke border the Benke border crossing point has been neglected for some time. And what happened is we're seeing an increase of activity in terms of the throughput of people passing to and fro.
So as to better manage that traffic and improve the efficiency of operations at the Benke Viejo-Melchor border crossing, the government of Belize has decided to take on a project that will see the construction of proper fences and gates in the weeks ahead.
The way our border is, it's a bit porous, and this is being done to have more control, more security. Well, not really control, but security for both sides. What we try to do is to avoid any incident that could happen.
That in mind, the Ministry of National Security is now putting in place necessary infrastructure as well as protocols to safeguard the western frontier with Guatemala. That decision has been long in the making.
The National Security Council, for a long time ago, had identified that we must improve what's happening there. Now, this is part of a wider process that needs to take place, but the immediate action that must be taken is to improve the security itself right there. Because of the budget constraints and other constraints, and of course something that we see it as something that needs to be done in order to not affect too much what happens every day, the daily routine at the Benke border crossing point, Benke Melchor crossing point. The light engineers of the Belize Defense Force were asked to do it. The light engineers, as you know, is a part of the Service and Support Battalion of the Belize Defense Force.
The commencement of work, however, is not without controversy. Not only is there a territorial dispute between both countries, Guatemala's media also seems intent on propagating misinformation. Director of International Affairs Said Badiguera at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs provides accurate details of an incident involving BDF personnel and Guatemalan civilians that took place on Sunday at the border.
Yesterday I got a call from our inspector in Benke to inform me about what was going on. Of course, there is a lot of distorted information. If it was on Facebook, I think, on the media, also on the Prensa Libre. But it is misinformation, most of all. Our BDF went there to download some material because, as you know, work was commencing today, the development of the infrastructure. That infrastructure is taking place in order to provide more security.
The latest issue of the Prensa Libre carries an article stating that Guatemala tour operators were being roughed up and forcibly moved by the BDF. Guerra, on the other hand, says that no such use of power was ever exercised.
The only thing that happened yesterday was that the BDF arrived and asked that tour operator to please move from the parking area where they were going to download. They wanted the area to be cleared. That was about it. But our friends from Guatemala, from the other side, they thought that they were being moved. They were not being moved by force. We had our police also intervening to explain to them and to translate what was going on, what was happening to the tour operators and the taxi drivers who usually sit around that area in front of the OAS office.
The scope of the work, as outlined by CEO Felix Enriquez, is to provide controlled access by upgrading existing infrastructure and building new ones in and around the area of the border.
What they will do is improve the fencing. So they'll install a gate that closes off to a certain extent the traffic going out and restrict how that is happening. And of course, monitor what is coming in so that the agencies that are there, customs and immigration, could have a better hold of things. So they'll be working in conjunction with the Border Management Agency to get this done. It should be done quite quickly. We expect within 6 to 8 weeks. The entire project will be finished and they will return to their normal duties.
Enriquez emphasizes that the BDF is not establishing a permanent presence at the Benque-Melchor border crossing. Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.